Foreign Tongues has been out a week, and I don't know about you, but it's been on heavy rotation here on my side. Every time I go in, there's always something new I'm picking up, and it's been crazy rewarding. So since we're all still in a Foreign Tongues frame of mind, it's now time to rank the songs on Foreign Tongues. I've done these rank the songs before for many classic albums, and I'm not sure if it's because the album is brand new, but I found it to be very difficult to do this one. Starting at the bottom of the list, but by no means am I implying that the songs here at the bottom of the list are, quote, terrible. There really isn't a song here that I, quote, dislike, but we got to start somewhere. So with that said, at number 14, I'm going to go with You Know I'm No Good. Again, to reiterate, I really don't have a problem with this song. It's just that it's got to go somewhere if I have to rank it amongst all the 14 tracks. And to be honest, I like it a lot. For whatever reason, once the intro starts, and for a second tricks me to thinking that this is going to be a little bit of a chore to listen to, but it's not. Mixed vocal is fantastic on it. And the way he bends that note on, you know, I'm no good. I mean, it's just tasty every time it comes up. And I love when he says, I've cheated myself. That line is great, always gets me too. But it's a solid performance, and it's done very respectfully, which is, I think, the part that surprises me every time I listen to it, is that the whole band is committed and very respectful of Miss Amy Winehouse's song here. And it's touching, and at the end of it, you feel like there's a connection here. So again, I don't have a problem with the song, but it's just not one that I necessarily put on repeat like the others you'll see on the list, but it's a lovely, lovely track. At number 13, I'm going to go with Divine Intervention. I know, a big surprise, because I think this is a lot of people's favorite song, and I could see why that's the case. I mean, out of maybe all the songs, with the exception of one or two, this is the most conservative, I would say, of sounds here. I mean, it's very familiar. This is very well-worn tracks here for a sound for the Stones. That intro is very much in the realm of the song Had It With You, and it's got a little bit of a Rough Justice vibe as well. And, it's a great rollicking Chuck Berry sound. The verses are really great. And I have to say, Daryl Jones sounds fantastic on this track. And again, I don't have a problem with this track. It's just that, compared to the other tracks, I listen to the other ones a bit more than this one. And for me, the saving grace on this track, not that it needs one, but it's a highlight for me, is Ronnie Wood's solo here on Divine Intervention. It is a quirky, very fun and unusual solo. The phrasing, the rhythm, he has little inflections that he's adding here and there to the solo that is just, it's so great to listen to, and you're just so locked in and engaged in that solo. And so to me, it's a highlight. At number 12, I'm going to go with Some of Us. This is Keith Richards' lead vocal on the album, and it's a lovely performance. As usual, Keith seems to be enjoying this kind of country twinge to his vocals a lot more these days, and he's doing it a little bit here on the verse. The song was originally written in the mid-'80s during the Dirty Work sessions, but as usual with the Stones, they kind of discarded the track, and it kind of just floated around for many years until Keith picked it up and resurrected it for this album and really kind of redesigned and rearranged the song. I mentioned that although his lead vocal had a little bit of a country twinge, it does morph into this sort of soul and, for me, a little bit of a gospel feel with the background vocals by the end with that long outro, which has one of my favorite moments of the whole album, which I referenced in another video called My Top 5 Moments on Foreign Tongues, but it happens at the end of Some of Us, when Keith and Mick share the lead vocal at the end with the line, Some of Us Are on Our Knees. It's a moment that kind of shatters you when you hear it. It's so lovely to hear those two guys singing together again. And so with that, it's a lovely song, and that's where I'm putting it on my list. Number 11, I'm going to go with Jealous Lover. Again, I don't have much of an issue with this song. It's got the same interplay as Beast of Burden with the guitars, but would have been, for me, easily on It's Only Rock and Roll or Black and Blue. For me, it has the markings of that classic 70s kind of R&B and soul track. And Mick's falsetto is to die for. He sings the hell out of it, and it's got a great breakdown on this song with the "Let It Go, Let It Go, Let It Go Now," which is a very pleased and happy to say a common feature on a lot of these songs, having breakdowns where it's a time for the band to shine through. You didn't get that on Hackney Diamonds. There was really no time for that. It was very tight. It's almost this feeling of, let's get moving. Let's get to the next song. And here, a lot of songs take their time to groove it out and let the band shine. And that is one of the markings, the hallmark markings of a Stones album, is that you get moments where the band shines and your focus kind of goes in different places, not just the lead vocal. And so with that, Jazz Lover has one of great breakdowns on the album, but it's a great song. Number 10, I'm going with Back in Your Life. This song is a killer. Swear to God. I mean, and it's all on the lyric there, as the singer, the narrator is talking to this person who has kind of moved on from this relationship, and he's wondering, how do we rectify? How do I get back in your life? And the cherry on top is one of the best moments of the whole album, really, to be honest, is Ronnie Wood's solo here, which apparently went on for much longer on the original unedited take of this song, according to their stories. But Ronnie Wood delivers a beautiful, heart-wrenching solo that you rarely get to use the phrase, it sounds like a guitar crying, and he did it here. He did it. There are only a few instances of that actually succeeding in music history, I think, probably. And this is the newest installation of someone actually making it happen. And the story goes, he says that he recorded that solo the same week that Brian Wilson passed away and Sly Stone died. So he was definitely welled up with emotion, and it comes right through in this solo. And it's a beautiful solo. And there's something about it when it hits where you just go, oh man, look at this. And it's the kind of emotion that you would find in other Rolling Stones records, where it's genuine hurt, genuine pain. There's a passion there that for me is undeniable. You'd have to be, dead inside to not feel it in that moment. And that's what makes Stones records unique, is that they're able to go into that room in the house and have you explore other feelings, like these tender moments and also heartbreaking moments. So it's a beautiful moment. It's a great song. At number 9, I'm going with In the Stars. It's a classic riff. Keith sounds great on that open G, riffing in the beginning. And, it's a song that kind of tricks you, because when the song starts, it sounds very flowery and airy, and you think, oh, this is going to be a ballad of some sort. It gives you hints of the song Biggest Mistake from A Bigger Bang from 2005, and you just don't know where it's going. But then you lock in on that opening riff, and the verses are just so tasty, so delicious, and you're in for the ride. And the chorus is very uplifting. And I like the sentiment of, it was meant to be. It was in the stars. There's no mystery that we came together. We came together for a reason, you and I. My friend and the creator of the Time is on our side website, Ian McPherson, had a great angle and take on this song, that the song could possibly be a song that Mick wrote about him and Keith and their friendship, which is a great way to look at this song. And once I heard that, I completely embraced that idea. And whether it's true or not, I don't care. I attached it and projected it to this song, and it works so well and adds a different layer to it. And the song is a great sentiment, great feel. And by the time the song ends, you're just like, damn it, Rolling Stones all the way. Great track. At number 8, Hit Me in the Head. Charlie Watts back on drums here on this track, and he sounds fantastic. The moment this song came on, I immediately got shockwaves of the Dirty Work album, because this song sounds nothing like the rest of the album. And it makes sense, because this song was partly recorded in 2019. The Charlie Watts drums were recorded in 2019. I think this was in Henson Studios in Los Angeles. But this was before Andrew Watt had come on board. I think it's a great track. Mick's singing is aggressive. It's there. It reminds you of Dirty Work. It reminds you of, Some Girls and Emotional Rescue. And you can't go wrong for me on it. I love the background vocals, and it's got a lot of beef to it. And, I prefer it over Bite My Head Off from Hackney Diamonds. To be honest, almost every single track here on Foreign Tongues is a sister to the tracks on Hackney Diamonds. And frankly, I believe that all the ones here in Foreign Tongues completely outshine the ones on Hackney Diamonds. And here, I prefer Hit Me in the Head over Bite My Head Off. Yeah, this one's a great one. At number 7, Ringing Hollow. I wasn't that much impressed with Dreamy Skies from Hackney Diamonds. I thought that was a little bit good aim, but at the end, I don't think the arrow stuck. And this one sticks for many reasons. When it comes to political things with Mick, it could be heavy-handed. It could be, a swing and a miss. This isn't the first time Mick's gone political on a song like this. Songs like Indian Girl from Emotional Rescue, or Undercover of the Night from Undercover. Sweet Neocon from A Bigger Bang, High Wire off the Flashpoint live album, and on and on. My point is, here on Ringing Hollow, it's done very tastefully, and you can feel that there's something underneath the words that are meaningful to Mick Jagger. Whether or not we all agree with the sentiment is another case altogether, but the point is, he felt strong enough to include it, and I don't have an issue with it at all. So I gotta say, I'm a sucker for the choruses. There's a great interplay between the guitars and the vocals. Keith is joining Mick on the choruses there with a very kind of low, gravelly, matches the mood of the song, and it adds a different darkness to it that I'm sure Mick wanted to amplify for this song, because it's not this happy-go-lucky country song. It's a regret, it's a lament, and the whole band does a good job to straddle that line without being so, overly maudlin. And I think it's a very strong track. At number 6, I'm going with Covered in You. Paul McCartney's featured on this track, and he sounds great on it, if you ask me. Again, I prefer his performance here to what he did on Bite My Head Off. That was sort of a throwaway, if you ask me, on Hackney Diamonds. But here, he's kind of slipping and sliding all over the place on bass, and it's so great. And it's an interesting track. Again, it starts off where you think, oh, this is going to be a ballad. What is this going to be? It's got this very romantic feel to it, with the piano going, and with mixing this very gentle and passionate vocal. And then it crashes into the heavy part, and Mick goes into this rock rap that he's been using throughout the album, really. And he uses it to great effect. And I think, there's so many great lines here. We were separated like Korea. By the time you get to the end of the song, you're completely mesmerized by his performance. And the last line is just unbelievable. The way he can hold on to those notes. Listen to the last line of the song and how his voice just flutters to a landing, a perfect landing of a vocal there. And that's after all the spins and all the twists and turns that vocal had already gone through on that song, from the rap to the big melodic chorus, and then he brings it down to almost a whisper by the end of the song. It's a masterclass of control and dynamics, and it's one of Mick's best moments of the album. At number 5, Rough and Twisted. I have to admit, when this song was first released as a single, I was a little skeptical. I loved what I was hearing. I was sort of distant to it for a while when the song had come out as a single, but as an opener to this album, I absolutely love it. It is a huge statement to make as an album opener. And Keith says that when they were recording this, he looked at Mick and they both looked at each other and realized that, how can we not have this be our opening track on the album? And they were dead on right, because it is so impactful and says everything you need to know about what's coming up ahead on this album, which is power and roots music, just a journey, because that album is the kickoff to this great road trip that you're about to embark on with this album. What can you say? The whole band sounds fantastic. It's Keith starting off the riff there on the left channel that's carrying through. Ronnie, Lord have mercy. Ronnie Wood on slide, just attacking that like a like a chainsaw, just cutting right through. It's a gorgeous track. It's Steve Jordan, epic drums. That those first hits on the snare and the toms, wow. I mean, you just feel like it's an earthquake starting. Number 4, I'm putting Never Want to Lose You. Whew, this song, this is now we're getting to the part of my list here where we're getting to parts of the album where when the song comes on, I'm putting it on repeat probably 2 or 3 times before I move on to the next song. And this is for sure one of those songs. My God, Daryl Jones sounds fantastic on this. He really carries it through. So does Steve Winwood, who plays on 9 of the 14 tracks here on Foreign Tongues. A lot of people have been saying that the guest stars have been a distraction. Every guest on the album is adding so much to the music and contributing such musical value to all of the songs that it doesn't matter that you've got Robert Smith playing, guitar and synth on this song, or Steve Winwood playing on this track or that track on the album, because they're adding such great stuff, such musical stuff to these parts. It's really great. And I think Steve Winwood shines on this song. Keith Richards on open G tuning there. You can hear him perfectly on the verses there. Although I don't think he's on the open G during the choruses, but I've still yet to investigate that. But Ronnie sounds great. This song also has another great breakdown, where this breakdown, all of a sudden, it sounds like you're in the album Undercover. It sounds like Too Much Blood. It's a mind fuck completely. You're just completely just like, where are we now? And it continues this fantastic trend with what this album is doing, where it's going through this entire timeline of the Stones' music. And almost every song is a wink to another era of the Stones. Again, I prefer this over Mess It Up. This is obviously the dance track of the album, but unlike in past times, whenever you got to the dance track on a new Stones album, it always kind of stuck out. You could always really tell, oh yeah, here comes a dance track. I didn't feel that way here on Foreign Tongues with this song, Never Want to Lose You. I thought it fit very comfortably with all the other songs, and it didn't stick out. It was very natural and completely fit in context. I think the whole band sounds fantastic. This is a winner altogether. At number 3, I'm going with Beautiful Delilah. This Chuck Berry cover, completely reimagined as a Freddie McDowell Delta Blues. It is such a special moment for me. And I'm saddened that for a lot of people, this is like at the bottom of their list. It's their least heard song on the album. And it's disappointing, because I think it's such a magical, historic moment to have Mick and Keith perform a Chuck Berry song again, who was their hero, definitely Keith's hero, in terms of what he absorbed those early years as a guitar player and how much of a hero Chuck Berry was. And they reimagined it for this new arrangement, making it this kind of like back porch Mississippi arrangement that is so rich, just a feast for the ears to hear. 2 guys, Mick on guitar and vocals, and Keith also on guitar and slide, in fact, and harmony vocals. And I think it provides such a fantastic contrast to the rest of the album. It is a very small, intimate moment between these 2 guys at the end of a very large and big and very bold sounding album that has been the case up to this point of the album. And so it's a fantastic way to end this album. And just between 2 guys, they can create this sound where it sounds like they're on a train. It's so much rhythm bouncing off each other that it's hypnotizing and just a beautiful moment. It's the only way I can describe it. Number 2, I'm going to go with Side Effects. Man, this song, whenever I'm listening to the album, I have to put this song on, maybe repeat 5 times. And Side Effects is a great way to kind of end the show that is Foreign Tongues. This song, which is a Keith song, mind you, I mean, you can totally hear this on Cross-Eyed Heart or something. There's something about the verses that is so quintessential Keith, the way that goes up, the F, the G to the A minor, and the guitars. It's just so juicy. And that first line, you can tell this is coming from the mind of Keith Richards, of side effects and drugs. Your hands are shaking, my tongue's rough. And to be honest, I think this is one of Mick Jagger's best vocal performances. He reaches for some great notes and really, it sounds like he's scratching up his throat at times, and he's really giving it his all and really adds some great drama to the song. And I think really delivers for Keith here. You'll notice that the writing credit includes Andrew Watt. This is, I believe, one of two Andrew Watt credits on the album. And you can kind of tell likely where Andrew Watt had come in to finish things off. Side Effects has a little bit of this 60s. We've got a vocal hook. We've got a great chorus. It's just compact, and it's there for you to take with you when the song is over, because I will be humming parts of this song throughout the day. It's such an earworm, and it reminds me of all their best earworms from the 60s. It's got a little bit of connection in there for me. It's all the best qualities of their early 60s tracks. You get shades of it here on Side Effects. It's a damn good hook. And that riff that Keith has in the beginning, super unique, very bizarre, and completely matches what's going on here with this song of the singer, going through all these physical reactions to this drug, and the woman in his life being the best drug he's ever had. And I mean, to me, this is a winner of a track, and this is the Driving Me Too Hard, Foreign Tongues, and it's a great moment. At number 1, Mr. Charm. This is a flat out banger, a banger of a song that I can never get enough of. What do you want? I mean, it's got, this is a Stone song all the way, with Keith ripping that song open with that riff, which is a mix of Monkey Man and Slave a little bit, but it's juicy and funky, and you just want to just live in that riff the whole time. And Steve Jordan there to support that riff, and then you're off to the races with Mick, creating this character that you can see that sly grin on his face, as he's saying these lyrics. When I first heard this song, I stood up right in my seat. By the time that chorus hit, I was just in shock. I was like, is this the Stones? Of course it is. It's them, but in such a fresh way, because it's such a bold and in your face and fun track that has a lot of sense of humor, which is a great characteristic of Stones songs, is that it's always tongue in cheek. By the time the song ends, it's just this chaotic onslaught of sounds coming from all around. And it's just one that I can never put on just once. It's got to go in rotation again and again, because it's mesmerizing to me to hear that the Stones are doing something that fresh and that bold. To me, it's the runaway song of the album, and it's a Jagger Richards one. No outside help needed on this one, and it's a winner, 100%. Foreign Tongues. I'm still picking at this album even a week later. It is an album that keeps on giving, and I love going back to the album and listening to it in different ways, be it from the top of the album, rough and twisted, and going through it in one sitting all the way through, or taking it in different chunks, different song combinations, and different sections. It works that way too. It's very rewarding to explore the songs in different ways, and the album just keeps on giving. It's shocking and breathtaking that something like this was given. It's a gift completely. As an experience, it's right there with some of my all-time favorite Stones albums now, and that wasn't necessarily the case on Hackney Diamonds. I appreciated the attention and the craft that went into that album, but this feels more like home. And I'm just so pleased with it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to still listening to it as the days go by. So that's my ranking of Foreign Tongues. I have not changed my view on the album since my early review or my full review from last week. I still think this album is, as I've been calling it, an embarrassment of riches. That is quite the gift, and I still stand by my 4.5 out of 5 stars. Well, what about you? What's your ranking of the songs here on Foreign Tongues? Put it all in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Hangfire. While we're here ranking the songs on Foreign Tongues, we should also probably include the bonus track that's only available on the iTunes version of Foreign Tongues. That's right, iTunes, not Apple Music, but you need to purchase the whole album on iTunes to get the bonus track, Bad Luck Hideaway. It's a very lovely track, a very subtle, laid-back track that is a Keith penned track that only has 3 Stones on the album. That's Mick, Keith, and Charlie on the track. And Keith also doubles on bass on the track. And it's a very lovely track. It's got this very Graham Parsons, kind of Exile on Main Street, kind of low to the ground, a laid-back vibe to it. And it's a very nice moment between the 3 Stones. People have been wondering why this was not included on Foreign Tongues, and I can kind of see why it was left off. I mean, between this and Ringing Hollow, I think they probably felt that there was enough of the kind of the ballad type songs, and Ringing Hollow was probably a little bit more sharper in terms of getting a message across than something like this song, Bad Luck Hideaway. But both are very nice. I'm glad they released it in any capacity, even though it was a bonus track. Hopefully we get it on some kind of deluxe edition of Foreign Tongues at some point. But if I were to rank this song, I would probably put it somewhere between Ringing Hollow and Covered in You on my list, somewhere in the top 6 or so of songs. I don't necessarily believe that it would have worked well on Foreign Tongues. I think it would have been a nice departure, but I think Hit Me in the Head is already a nice departure from the rest of the album, as is Beautiful Delilah. So I don't know if necessarily Bad Luck Hideaway would have fit. Definitely production-wise, it would have been yet another different flavor compared to the rest of the album. But all in all, it is a lovely track, and so good to hear Charlie again on the drums. And it's a great duet between Mick and Keith, which does not happen often, like I've mentioned before. So it's a very good moment. I'm glad we got it, even as a bonus track on the iTunes version. But yeah, definitely something that people should seek out to find.